Thank you so much, Salma. My name is Elnaz Sheshgelani. I studied puppet theater in Iran. It's my major, and I continued puppet theater in a higher education and higher degree. I came to Australia. I migrated to Australia 2007 to work for a theater company here by the name of La Mama Theater. It's a non-making profit theater. And I continued making theater majorly in puppet theater, and later on I did my PhD in Persian dramatic storytelling by the name of Gusan or Naqali Parsi. Just recently, because I brought the aspect of dance back, I revived it, because obviously, that dance is not being appreciated in Iran for many, many years. So I got this amazing opportunity by UNESCO to present Persian dramatic dance by the name of Vashtan in SEED International, which is UNESCO's International Dance Council. So yes, this is me. Falling in love with puppets is a long journey. I think that that was earlier in my life. I like to make puppets, and it was something that I liked. But eventually, when I came to Tehran University to do theater, I got accepted to do theater. And after 2 years of doing major theater, doing every 5 major parts of theater in Tehran University, along with you, I realized
we were classmates. Sort
That's
of.
right. You're going. Oh, you're actually above me. You're a senior. So all the respect to Salma John. But yes, I stayed there, and for my 2 years getting professional in the field, I realized that how much I like puppets. I really like making puppets, and it was very, it gave me the opportunity that I needed. You can make puppets, you can do the costume design, you can do the lights. So it was everything that theater had, almost extracted in a little version in puppet theater. So that was, I think that was just that possibility of puppet theater made me to continue making art forms with it. I mean, when I was in Iran, I don't consider myself getting professional in my field. I was studying. I had friends like you that I was getting inspired by, and I did some work, but it wasn't like my occupation in a way. It wasn't something that I would do every day. When I came out of Iran in Australia, and that was more the case, I was more in the field. I could do more work. I think in terms of being a man and woman, it's always, even here, they're still talking about how much we don't have equal pay, for example, is still not establishing here. But in Australia, part of the political system that they consider democracy is a major part of how they organize their society. So at least in the surface is nothing that can stop you. But I think that one thing that made me to think deeply about this matter is that as a woman, first for you, it doesn't matter how skilled you are, what you can do, you have to somehow prove yourself. It's that tendency that you need to prove yourself. You say that I'm sane enough, that you can trust me. It's almost like that. So for that, it takes a very long time, for that to gain, I don't know, is it respect or is it proven? Whatever it is that that aspect is, it takes time. And it took time for me too. I'm here since 2007. I've worked all these years, in a theater company, La Mama. Then I went to university. I went to Victorian College of Arts, which is belong to Melbourne University, to study and do my master's and PhD. And all that journey, whole through, it took a very long time till eventually I came up, I consider to be the master of my craft. And that perhaps is similar, for getting that mastery, there is definitely time involved, But as I said, I feel that as a woman, you have to, on top of that, you need to somehow prove yourself. Now that I'm a mid-aged woman, I can tell you that I believe that people can live without many things, and that can be economical, or even the status that we hold in the society or where we live is not that important. But what is very important for human soul and artistic soul is freedom, and that goes for a long journey, in how you make art with a free mind, or at least feeling that freedom is very different to the time that you don't feel free to express, free to be, free to say, free to be a thinker even. So that was a major challenge for me when I was in Iran. When I left, for me to believe that I'm free, it takes a very long journey again, because when you are not free, you don't know what freedom is. And the freedom is beyond, beyond many surface subjects. It goes far beyond that. How much you let yourself in your own thoughts, that how far you want to go. So it's a challenge to gain freedom and work with freedom and what is free. Another thing for me here in Australia was that obviously I'm coming from Iran, and when you're coming out of Iran, you realize that all these years, since the revolution perhaps, we hold in a bubble, and being out of that bubble and expressing that we have our own theater. For me to come out and say we have a history of storytelling, long journey of that 5,000 years as far as we know, and it's very similar to theater of No in Japan. We have puppet theater. It was just a bit it seemed to be outworthy for them. They to just prove that we have that tradition, we have that culture. So that was another long battlefield for me, and for that I just needed to find chances. And for that I have to say that I'm very thankful to La Mama Theatre to give me the opportunities to to work, to make this art form being more familiar, work with different, because I worked with ancient Persian stories like Shahnameh majorly, and Mantiq al-Tayr Attar, which the birds conference, and Shakespeare, in terms of, so I tried this art form again and again with different texts, with different literature that is coming from different parts. So I was proving that, and the capacity of this art form and how far it can go. But it's like you are your own army. That's you are working very hard, and it's you and you and you. So on the way, if you're not going crazy, you're going somewhere eventually. Yes, I had such faith, Salma. I still have such faith. One day I just said to myself, look, this little river that comes to my home is very, it's very thin, but I have to it's the only thing that I have. I just wanted to stay by the art form. I just loved it, and I still have such faith. So I'm a believer.
For final word, actually, I would like to ask you to tell us about your recent works about woman life freedom, and we can see your background, Zan Zendegi Azadi, and also your puppets, because you worked a lot about this. And tell us about your activities.
I believe in education. I believe in establishing way to connect, and nothing is more powerful than deeply going into the human soul than art. And me and you, we're sharing the art form. We call it puppet theater. It goes, and it gives lots of possibilities. I always say to my students that puppet theater and possibilities, they are two big P's in life. Gives you possibilities. And I worked with the possibility of art form as a symbolic, powerful art form that pass its message through an object that most of the time is better presented than human even. So we go behind that object that we call puppet, and that becomes our message. Recently for Women Life Freedom, I got, I workshop a puppet that was a bird, like this one, a larger size, and everyone made it. It's a stick puppet. It's very easy to make. It has a geometrical configuration about it, and they're flying very well, and I made a march.
Yeah, and very powerful.
Oh, thank you. So we had the March for Freedom. I think that what is very interesting about what happened in Iran is started with women, and this is long-lasting request for mothers, for creators, for people like you, for people like me, that we have so much in us to contribute to the society and bring beauty to life. So we want only that chance. And for that, I think that forever I am gonna barrack for that. I'm gonna be behind that thoughts, and it's make me so proud. I never been prouder in my life about being Iranian, and I'm sending lots of hope and blessing to Iranian women. And yes.
Thank you so much, Elnaz. Thank you.
Pleasure, Aziza. Such a pleasure. Thank you.